Hello, welcome to the podcast, Music Weapon of the Future. My name is Lindsay Charles, and thank you for tuning in to episode number 7. On this special episode, I have a conversation with two wonderful guests, Jasmine Jedidiah and Hema Charles. They both have quite different and interesting career paths. Jasmine, on one hand, is informally trained in music. She has been singing since her early childhood and is surrounded with music all her life. Now she teaches music at an international school, and she says, I quote, music as an art has taken different routes into young minds that don't have boundaries of expression and works toward drawing out creativity and curiosity in unconventional ways. On the other hand, Hema is formally educated in music, her primary instrument as viola, and her secondary instrument being piano. She has played with different orchestras and in different studio sessions. They both are music educators and also my sisters. And without further ado, so what choices of weapons have you selected in your music field?
So far, violin, viola, and my voice apparently is the new latest weapon I need to develop.
Mm-hmm.
Still forging.
Still forging? What kind of anvils are you using?
I think I need to get more into the guitars. I want to try a bass. I also want to try a lead.
Hmm.
But who has the time right now?
Hmm.
Which is a lie again. So
But I think seeing you from quite many years, I think voice would be a clear weapon that you have developed.
yeah, but like as a side hustle, I think those could help
Hmm.
the others.
But how confident are you with your voice?
I've taken some vocal classes and I feel like that gave me a huge nitrous boost.
Hmm.
And that was
Interesting.
great. Yeah.
I feel like I need that too,
A
just
nitrous
to
boost?
regulate my voice.
Yeah, it really does help if you have a
Yeah.
teacher.
Because I've ignored it all these years, even though I have it inside me.
Mm.
I would always think, oh, I'm not a singer,
Hmm.
and be
Yeah.
shy about singing. But
It's time.
yeah, it's time.
No, but talking about teaching and learning, what are or what has been your origins in music?
Why don't you go first?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Origins of teaching?
Of music in general.
Of
or
music in
in
your life.
general. Oh, that's
Music
a
in your
very
life.
interesting question. Because I think when I was about to join the school that I'm working in right now,
Mm-hmm.
she asked me the same question.
Hmm.
And for me, it sounded so bizarre because
Why?
it's like I did not have a particular origin. It was like I was born in those waters.
Mm-hmm. But what do
So,
you mean?
like, it's been a part of my life for as long as I can remember.
Okay, so there's no sudden point that you think engaged you or had a epiphany of
Yeah.
this is how music sounds or this is how it feels when you listen to some song.
Yeah, absolutely no epiphany such as that.
Hmm.
It was just a part of me.
Mm.
So,
Like a fish in water.
yeah, exactly. Like, it's all I knew or grew up with.
Very
So,
interesting.
okay. And you?
For me, I started playing because my dad's a music teacher. But only when I had other teachers was when I realized,
Took it seriously.
not just took it seriously, but I was more inspired.
Okay.
Inspired by the depth of music.
Okay.
And that's actually what pushed me to pursue it further.
So, what age was it? The life-shaping moment that you had taken a decision to make it a career choice.
Oh.
Around between 13 to 15, I think. Yeah.
You decided to make it a career choice.
Yeah. And
Okay.
I went through this phase where I wasn't sure if I should choose piano or viola.
Okay.
And my piano teacher was pregnant, so she went on leave. And I actually stopped my piano lessons for 6 months to see, okay, if I should choose just viola. And then I thought about it a lot and I still could not choose. Because in the classical world, they say, pianos, there's a lot of competition, but viola is like more rare. So the chances of me succeeding with that instrument were higher. So with that logic, I kind of did choose viola, but I did not want to give up on piano.
Nice. Setting in both the boats.
Yeah, I couldn't leave.
But you're also formally trained in classical music, both piano and viola.
Yes.
Right.
How has that journey been in the classical world, Western classical? Because many stereotypical things or views are that it's very strict, very stringent, structured, not much room for
flexibility.
Yeah.
There's a certain element of truth to that, I think. But that depends on the teacher. That's what I noticed. Depending on the teacher, like how much room they give you for other ways of learning, like besides reading music and learning how to play different techniques. How much they encourage like ear training and how much they encourage just finding your own way to express the musicality of what you're playing. But otherwise I agree, it is pretty structured.
Can you describe what levels or what steps did you exactly take, or what was it? Some levels, grades, or exams?
So there's this exams board called ABRSM. Those are what I took. So I started when I was 8 years old, I think, with grade 1. I did all the grades.
That's very young.
Yeah. I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 5, I just passed. And that time I just got a new piano teacher. Like I moved from my dad to my piano teacher.
Oh, so your dad taught you?
Yeah.
Okay, that's sweet.
But it would be, so in my home, it would be like group lessons. There would be a bunch of kids and we would just learn
like 3
together.
to 4
Yeah,
people.
3 to 4.
Okay.
And I would be the one who would get it the fastest.
Oh.
So I'd like learn in the last 2 months or maybe I would learn first and then, anyway. So first was my dad and then grade 5. So there's a total of 8 grades. Above grade 5 is when it actually gets a little more advanced. So when I first started with my piano teacher, her name is Jivka, she said, I'm not ready to do grade 5. She said, you need to practice a lot. You're not ready for this. But I took the exam anyway because we registered for it.
And what institute was this?
This is Qatar Music Academy in Qatar. Yeah, so she said, I'm not ready. And I took it anyway. I just passed. Not amazing. But for her sake, I took the exam again. And this time I got a merit or a distinction or something.
Okay.
But then later on, I really enjoyed my whole journey with her because she influenced me as a person. and not just as a musician. I did the next grades with her, 6, 7, 8, and then I went on to do the diploma in piano as well, which was a big challenge in a way that you have to like perform for 35 minutes straight.
35-minute long pieces.
35 minute, yeah, around 3 to 4 pieces.
So this is after grade 8.
This after grade 8.
So you have to perform for at least 2 hours.
No. The total performance is 35
Okay.
minutes. A selection from different time periods. And with viola, I did till grade 7 ABRSM. Also had an amazing teacher.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And so with that, I stopped at grade 7 because we were focusing more on more complex pieces. And the exam system felt kind of like a limitation towards that.
Right.
And this is classical.
This is classical music, yeah.
And then coming to you, Jasmine, you have a different growing up in music journey.
Right, I do. Absolutely.
It
Yeah.
wasn't very
It was freestyle.
structured.
Yeah, I was absolutely freestyling. I was like...
How was that experience been?
I don't... okay, let's see. I don't know if it was that helpful, but it was definitely not a limitation. Because I could have used a teacher to guide me or push me through my interests or my abilities. Because it was all around me, but it was not like I could just grab it and take it. So that's, I think, interesting.
You had to put in an effort and tune into whatever you wanted.
Yeah, and that would have been very challenging, especially considering I...
As young age.
Exactly.
Being young person, yeah.
Yeah, so I had a question for Hema, actually.
Yeah.
You know how you said your music teacher inspired you as a person?
Yes.
And not just a musician. That was interesting to me because I was thinking, so until your grade 5, were you sort of like disconnected?
With music?
Yeah,
Or
with music, or how involved you were with it?
I think I was mindlessly involved with music. Like, yeah, I can play, let's play, I can play.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just very natural thing to do. I did enjoy it. It's not like I didn't enjoy it.
Yeah, but you were so used to do it every day. It was just something that you just
Yeah.
do.
Okay. So when did you...
I didn't think too much about where would this go or not go.
Right. So when did the viola come in? What time?
When I was 12.
Okay. So 8, 9,
Yes.
10, 11, 12.
That was the same age I got my new piano teacher. So I had both of them.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
But I want to hear more about your choices in learning something, because you said you had to choose what to learn or what you wanted to learn or where you wanted to practice or how you wanted to practice, because in the early days you were singing a lot.
Yeah, I was definitely singing a lot. Singing was for me, me. It was my way of expressing my life or myself, which is why I also started writing music at, I think I was in 8th grade.
So you were composing your own tunes.
Yes, I absolutely was, because that's what it meant to me. Like, music for me was
creative space.
Yeah, it's a creative space. It was how much I can express myself, and so it was a great journey. But I found it very challenging to do, like, to be the singer, to also be somebody that plays an instrument, to put these things together. And at some point, I even gave up on it.
Would have been nice if you had a system to support that.
Yeah, exactly. It would have been great if I had a system to support that. But I wouldn't say it was difficult, but I think I would say I did enjoy the fact that it was just me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, it didn't happen, so I wouldn't know how it would have been like.
Yeah, and I don't know what that feels like.
Yeah.
Because it was always people involved
Right.
with my music.
Yeah, everyone tells you what to do.
Yeah.
Everyone shows you exactly what to practice.
What to practice, how to practice, and my dad reminding me to practice.
Every day.
Oh gosh, I would have never done anything if I had to, had
like
somebody to
my
constantly.
teacher telling me you need to practice 4 hours every day, otherwise.
Oh Lord.
Yeah. You're starting late, so 12 was actually a late age to start in classical music.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I think even I remember I also have beginnings in classical music.
Oh yes,
in
I was about to
classical
ask you
piano.
about that. Go for
So
it.
I'm also similarly trained in the ABRSM grade 1 to 5, I think.
Yeah.
And after 5, I was so bored of playing that music because I didn't know what I was doing. It was like I'm just doing some homework.
It's like math.
Yeah, it's like I'm just doing some homework, and then even your mind in terms of musicality or sound, it felt like I'm hearing the same piano sound for how long? It's like how long should I be able to play the same tone of the piano? Like I can't even change other tones on the piano and play it in the exam. So it was quite boring for my ears and also for my mind. I'm not saying it in a bad way. It was only what I experienced at that point of time. I
Right.
think.
No, I understand that. I think it makes sense. Even for me, like school was like that. School was so mentally unstimulating.
Tell me about
Boring.
that. Yeah. I just thought of something and then I absolutely. Yeah, I remember when I heard like you were taking your piano lessons and then that you stopped, and I was like, what kind of crazy person is he to stop his piano lessons? Like, who stops their
Hearing
piano
stuff
lessons?
from the other side of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I was like, okay, at least he's doing something else, so good for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I wasn't doing anything for a couple of years, I think, or a year maybe. And then I was really interested in other sounds, like not just piano, but different, like EP, electronic pianos and strings and stuff like that. So I think then I switched, if I remember correctly, I switched to the acoustic guitar. There's a small box guitar which Kripal Mama Chima bought.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Was that before or after the drums?
I think it was before.
Before. Okay.
It was before the drums because I got suddenly interested in guitar because of some songs or some concerts we went to see Kripal Mama. And then over there, I think I asked him, it's like, how long does it take to learn guitar? And then we went to the shop and
Classic question for a music teacher.
Yeah. So then we went to the shop. I think it was Music Palace, and we bought a small Granada, my first guitar.
Oh, he got one for you.
Yeah, that
Even
acoustic
my
small
first
one.
guitar, he
Sweet.
got me.
Gosh, that man is crazy. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He bought me this really tiny, like mini baby guitar, Granada. I think we still have it back home. Some other student is borrowing probably. Yeah, but that was another world for me to explore. So that gave me a new direction to explore and be interested again. Yeah, but as music educators, now both of you, how do you look back at your own lives saying, okay, this was good, this was bad, this was really helpful? Because as you said, system in some ways is really good for children or kids growing up with music.
Looking back, you said. I think there's like a particular level of structuredness that you could give a child, but at the same time, like offer him or her, that space to be able to create for themselves, which is, I think, obvious. It applies to everything, not just music. So the school that I've been teaching at right now, they have a brilliant curriculum for kids. So it's very subjective, but it's also very play-based and it's engaging. And I think I really admire that. I mean, if as a teacher, I wish I was a student in that school.
In that system.
Yeah, in that system. So that's
something nice, actually.
Yeah.
Not a lot of
Schools
school
generally
teachers
have
would
to
say that.
Right. Oh, I hated school, obviously. School was horrible. But yeah, this was nice. This was nice to see. This was nice to experience and engage with as well. To teach is it's a huge, tremendous challenge because they're so little and at the same time so profound in their understanding of what life could be or what the world works like.
How little are they?
Oh, they're below 2 to 6 years old.
Mm-hmm. It's like the forming ages.
Oh yeah, it's that brilliant mind age. Yeah.
Creativity is
curiosity.
like full.
Oh my gosh! I actually, what was so surprising to me when I went to the school is how they do not have any exposure to music. These kids, like.
You mean like music or good music? Just
Music.
music in general?
Music in general.
That's very surprising.
It was very surprising to me as well. There's like, out of these 200 kids, I think I can pick one or two that are able to like appreciate it for what it is and have exposure to it and have experienced it in their lives before. And that was very sad to see for me because now I had to start at scratch, and not that it was a bad thing, but what has the world come to, right?
Yeah, and how we took it for granted, our own exposure to
I
music.
know,
Like, it just felt like, oh, everybody lives like this.
Right, exactly. It's like
very common, but not uncommon.
yeah.
So, what would you say to, let's say, kids or parents or people who raise children? What kind of exposure should they be giving musically?
Musically, honestly, for a child, if you just play a song for them, I think we could start somewhere over there, like a tune or two, something they can find on the internet.
Like, just having a keyboard is nice, actually, to explore the sounds of different tones. I think that's a really great instrument to start for kids.
Oh, yeah. I absolutely
mean?
agree with the small
and
tiny
then
fingers.
they can branch out into their instrument of choice. Like, the keyboard could be their exposure instrument, even if they don't ask for it. That's what I think.
Even how the classical world tells the king of the instruments is piano.
Oh, dang, I didn't hear that before.
Yeah, it has all the
Quite
whole
kingly.
frequencies.
Yeah.
The whole octaves.
And
Yeah.
it's like so nicely visually laid out
Yeah. Oh, yeah, visually.
compared to other instruments.
Yeah, visually, even sonically,
Can you pass me
and
the water?
even acoustically. It's quite big, loud, and dynamic.
Yeah, the range is great.
Yeah. So, yeah. But moving forward, now if you said, now looking forward, what would you as music educators or teachers develop or give some tools to yourself to enable your students to keep furthering in music? What tools do you guys would want to develop?
I think for me is when I look back, what I didn't get more was in my training a lot of ear training. So that's what I'm working on now to give my students, both the technical structural part of how to play but also how to listen and identify how they can play along with a song, how they can play with other people. So yeah, some kids are naturally musically inclined, and I see that. But the others are not. It takes longer for that.
But do you think every person, or let's not say every, but the majority of population can be musical from your experiences?
I would absolutely agree that they could be musical.
How so?
I don't know.
Humans adapt to their surroundings and experiences, right? So I think it just depends on the experience that they get.
So the people who are not really musical, they just didn't have the exposure to it.
They just didn't have the exposure to it. But if they did, though, it would come to them as,
But also, I think what matters is how open they are to it. Because some people are very closed off to music and they don't even believe that they can play. They just put themselves in a box. Oh, I'm not musical. I don't play.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think it's quite visible in many of the people.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, but I think that involves a lot of psyche work,
Yeah,
not
that
just
does.
music.
Once I
Yeah.
met an 80-year-old man who wanted to start learning violin.
How
So
did that
it's
go?
all in the mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a good age to start.
Yeah, never too late.
Yeah.
What have been your favorite or influence? More like what has influenced you? What kind of music and what kind of bands or artists have laid good foundations in your musical minds?
It's a very interesting question.
You can talk about current things, or you can also talk about your all-time.
All-time favorites. As a child, I used to like grow up with more vocally, you know, artists that are involved vocally rather than instrumentally. But once I started teaching, that's when I actually evolved or ventured into instruments or exposed myself to new instruments, new sounds, because I had to be equipped to want to teach somebody else, right?
Yeah.
So I forgot what the question was actually.
What influenced you? I think.
What kind of bands?
Yeah, what things
People.
have been an influence? What kind of art? Who or
Who?
what bands, artists, or sounds, or people who influenced you?
I was listening to a lot of rock music and punk rock. That was great for me to watch as well, to see how, they're so involved in it. And indie, I think. People that actually they do not have a lot of, push, or they don't have that kind of, what do you call that? When somebody challenges you and constantly pushes you forward. Support system.
Yeah.
They don't have a support system. But they're still pushing ahead, and that's inspiring to me. There was this I'd never heard of this band called The Ventures, and somebody mentioned it to me once, and that was The Ventures, yeah. And that was a new find for me. They're very old. Have you heard of them?
No, I haven't.
They are great. They just it's
What
just
type of
instrumental guitars,
Oh,
Okay.
and they have different.
nice.
Yeah, they have acoustic lead, and it's just guitar. And I loved it when I first heard it. They have Ghost Riders in the Sky. I think that's my favorite track from them. Yeah.
I think most of my favorite artists come from you. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Also, I definitely want to take this time to mention your album. I don't remember what it's
My
called.
album?
Not album. Your
SoundCloud?
Yeah, I have
the SoundCloud.
many compositions.
Yes,
which
your
I have.
compositions.
Yeah.
That's what I should say.
Yeah, hopefully it'll be up in Spotify soon.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
exciting news. Thank you for finally
Switching to other platforms.
Yes, that's great.
But how does that benefit you in any way?
I doubt it.
It only benefits in reaching out to more people, a bigger audience.
But not monetary.
I don't think so, because monetary takes a long time and
A lot of listeners, I think, as well.
And especially in this new Spotify model, it's not
the best.
Yeah, not the best for musicians, I would say personally. But many musicians do disagree with that kind of things, because it also has provided a platform to discover easily, comparing to the past decade or so. So I think Spotify and so many other platforms like the YouTube Music and Apple Music has increased the chances of being discovered.
Yeah, that's true. I can't even imagine what it was like before to like just buy a CD and listen to that only.
Yeah, I think in that sense, I would still stick to that because you have a sense of ownership of the CD or music.
Right.
Oh yeah, I
You have an
remember.
ownership of a label, a record, LP, or and you
Yeah.
own it and you listen to it and you have to listen to the whole album, kind of.
You have to.
I mean, those things I think not many people appreciate nowadays, but the world has been moving forward, so I think
And only forward. Yeah.
The world is going, but not the Hyderabad.
Not Hyderabad.
Not Hyderabad. I don't think it's going up.
Yeah,
Musically, you mean?
Yeah,
Yes.
I think he means
Yeah.
musically.
the music scene also
Hyderabad hasn't.
Oh yeah. I would
Actually,
absolutely.
I feel it's more like when Hyderabad started hitting up from their originals, they again came back to the what is it called to the cover scene.
Yeah.
So it's more like we are going more backwards than the front. So it's
Front is just for show.
yeah, front is just for we are this and we are that.
Yeah.
But I feel it's not according to musicians and to the original artist. I don't think that's right. I feel if they have an option to to make their own music and put it out, I would really appreciate that. Because in Hyderabad I don't feel there's I think it's 0%. I don't see anywhere.
Right. I remember at some point we wanted to perform outside as a band, and we only heard that most of these cafes and places that offer a platform for you to be able to perform, they only do Bollywood music.
Regional, yeah.
Bollywood and regional.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I was like, what?
And I think last year, I guess, it was at least some part of it was Bollywood was there, but now it is not.
Even
Even that is also gone.
Yeah.
It's all regional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But all these cafes play English music.
But there are
It's
only
in
few.
DJ.
There are very few, very selected. But most of the mainline clubs, they are all mostly doing regional because they want crowd ultimately, and the crowd is also enjoying regional.
Oh yes, what kind of crowd? Ugh.
Yeah, with our previous guest, we spoke about this consumer and producing world.
Yeah.
Right.
It has become consumer based.
Yeah.
In the music industry, especially in Hyderabad.
Because
That's what he
yeah,
said.
the other parts of the world or even parts of India,
Yeah.
there
has been a different
upcoming
Yeah.
season.
Mumbai, Delhi, Chennai, everywhere, Chandigarh, all these different places, they have original music.
Yeah.
Like some kind of original music.
Right.
It could be regional, it could be Bollywood, it could be anything. But here, people are still doing
The
the
general
yeah.
spirit of procrastination
Oh my
Exactly.
gosh, absolutely.
I
is
think
upon us. Yeah.
these kinds of I don't know, but I do think that these kinds of talks should be pushed into or should help musicians to shape what directions they're going into. And only if musicians act out and stand with good leaders and good standards, who set standards, only then people will gonna start saying, okay, I want to do better, I want to do something else
Right.
other than just doing music, corporate music.
Yeah. One of my friend, your voice teacher,
Oh yeah.
Joe, he's from Switzerland. He had a school in Hyderabad for 11 years. Now he moved back. He retired. But he's always been saying the same thing, that we need to do something more than just playing music in clubs, or encourage new types of music, or just a general appreciation for music.
New
yeah,
platforms.
yeah.
Yeah.
New live or new venues, not
New
just
venues.
for
Yeah, not just for drinking.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, not just for coming.
Yeah, not just background noise
Yeah,
music. Yeah.
where there's just dedicated concerts,
Yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely.
because only then music or let's say artists are going to feel like, okay, they make music which is valued,
Right.
or else it goes down.
Useless.
Yeah, but talking about music here in India in general, you said many of your students have no exposure to music. But what if that exposure is in classical or Indian music more than Western music as we see it? Because as music educators, you both are experienced in Western music, but not at all in classical Indian music.
Yeah, I'm not.
You're saying, what if they are more exposed to Indian music?
Yeah.
No, I absolutely disagree that they are, because they don't have any concept of rhythm or basic tempo or tune or pitch. None of that. It was so surprising to me to see the fact that, but in these couple of months that I've been there, they've already improved drastically. So it says something about how exposure does help, and they haven't been exposed till now.
What do you think about Carnatic and Hindustani music, or have you been exposed to it such that you listen to something because that is where you're from?
I actually have been interested in a couple of that.
Couple of that. Yeah.
Couple of that, yeah. Because somebody that we know, Pastor Sunny, was trying to bring it into our what can I call it? Into our musical
World, I don't
ventures.
know.
Yeah, so he was trying to bring in
Into what
Hindustani.
kind of music we want to play together or make.
Yeah.
Not something that people have already made, but something that adds our own
Essence.
Yeah. From our own culture.
From our own culture. And how it's so... when I listen to Hindustani and Carnatic music, I've always been in love with it, because there was one time that Chinmama also had an album, and there was this Carnatic singer. Narsingh. Oh my gosh, I absolutely... my heart went with him, you know.
I totally agree. I think that album changed the musical sense, even from a Western point of view.
Yeah.
That you can blend those two things so nicely and cleanly.
So nicely, yeah. And it fits so well together. Yeah. Like, there's no such thing as two different musics, you know?
I don't think many... I mean, you could put it in a fusion sense, but from my perspective, I would just call it a new category, or like... I would still put it on the Hindustani side.
Yeah. Agreed. There was this one performer that came to the school, because they had this unit about performing arts in grade 1, and he was playing the tabla, and he was like talking about the pankwaj, I think that's what it's called, and he was talking about the differences and the sound, the tone, and how apparently they like tune them to the key, the scale, the scale that you're singing in, and which it was fascinating to me. Like, I look at this drum set and all I can hear is a dub dub doop doop,
that's it,
you know. But I'm sorry, no offense.
No, but melodically, I think drums are not as melodic as tabla.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, there's no comparison.
Yeah,
it's its own thing.
No, but they are both percussive instruments.
Yeah,
but when you speak melodically, it doesn't match.
Yeah, exactly. See, Peter.
No, but I think no, but totally connected with what you said.
Yeah.
Probably we should encourage students to also, dig into Hindustani and Carnatic, and not just Western music.
Actually, my students are exposing me to Indian music.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. Like, so where it comes from is, growing up, our parents never allowed us to watch any Hindi, Telugu movies.
Yeah.
Only like English animation movies.
Yeah.
Anyway,
animation.
so I just when I grew up, I just avoided that. Like, I wouldn't voluntarily go and watch Indian films. But if somebody suggested it, then I would, like KGF. But but now that I'm working with a lot of Indian kids, even the kids in US, the Indian kids in US are exposing me to more Indian music.
Right.
Hindi, Malayalam, Tamil, all of that. So I'm enjoying that and letting them,
Yeah.
We do it together.
Oh yeah, I have the same experience too. The curriculum that I'm working with, right? It expects the kids to know about genres, styles, and all of that, and a lot of Indian music is also involved. And I have to know all of that before I teach, and it's surprisingly very interesting for me as well to just dive
Yeah.
into all of that.
Yeah, as educators, I think we are always in the process of educating ourselves.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Because music also has a very psychological role. It affects how you feel about things, because it also ingrains a certain memory when you watch a movie. Let's say,
no
and
doubt.
and then you listen to that track again someday later. It always brings back something that you felt from that movie.
Right.
Yeah, the other night before sleeping, I think it was around midnight, I put on my nice pair of earphones, KZ earphones.
I was like, where is he going with this?
Shout out to KZ.
KZ, the Indian juicy. Yeah, so.
No, it's actually Chinese.
Yeah, it's Chinese. That's
Okay.
what I'm saying. It's Chinese imported, but really good. They're exceptionally, they're exceptional for its price. So they're quite good.
Okay.
So then I put them on, and
Yeah,
then
those
I
ones I
put
sent
this.
Are they like those in-ear thingies?
Yeah, in ears, and then you
Monitors.
have this Bluetooth module that you can use.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
So I put this on, and then
Okay. Go ahead.
I
Sorry.
put. I was playing this track by Hans Zimmer. It's
Oh.
called Time.
Okay.
Okay.
That track, even from the starting of the track, the way it moves something inside you, and it pulls you out, and then it takes you everywhere. So
Like
those kinds of
Time.
experiences only music can provide, and I think that kind of emotional response should be researched and should be taught more than just felt. It should be written more about, I have read many books and many things in my master degree in music technology,
Yeah.
but I should have known all of this in just growing up as a music educator, or in my daily reading or something like that.
You think it should be common knowledge?
Not common, but it should be something that at least musicians should
Accessible?
have.
Yeah.
It should be accessible and should be put out there to
Grab.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Mm.
Are you saying it's not accessible?
No, I'm not saying it's accessible. I'm saying people are not aware of that side of musicality.
Yeah, it's
I think it is very accessible.
extremely connected to mind.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Psychology.
I think music does definitely exist on a different plane. It's,
Yeah.
it's.
I think it's as big as love.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I think to tell you a fact that this was a factor that the name of this podcast was chosen. It is kind of a weapon of the future, or it'll always be a weapon of the future. It has
Yeah.
already been, maybe not a point that I can prove now.
Or maybe like Bob Marley
Yeah, exactly.
was a weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think not accessibility. Like accessibility is there. Like
But
But
awareness.
the awareness
yeah,
of the
awareness
Yeah.
and exposure.
Curiosity as well.
Yeah, I mean
I
people
think
are
it's
curious,
about like how much
Okay.
we can use it in our lives.
and I think many educators think that these kinds of topics are only for researchers.
Mm.
Music
they don't-
educators?
Yeah.
That's
Many music
crazy.
educators, I believe, they think that these topics such as psychology, music cognition, and music therapy are more research topics or clinical topics.
Yeah.
But I think it should be in the hands or in the tools. It should be one of the tools that music educators should have.
Interesting. I never
Yeah.
thought about it like that. I mean, I've always been interested in psychology and thought of merging these two, but I did see them as separate.
I had a interesting subject in my master degree. It was called cognition, music cognition, and there it was a new world for me because I haven't been exposed to it until then.
Okay.
And then I got to read so much material, or was suggested so many materials from my professor, and then we had to write a paper about any song you want to pick. You can on your choice.
Okay.
And I chose this around 11-minute song called "The Curtain"
Okay.
by it's by Snarky Puppy and Metropole Orchestra. So they did a song. It was, I think, composed by Snarky Puppy.
Actually, before you go ahead, can you brief me on what music cognition is?
Yeah, it's the study of music psychology, or how music affects your mind, what kind of
Okay.
emotions and what kind of the cognitive things happen
Okay.
when you listen or when you experience music.
Mm.
Even physically, why your head or body parts move when there's music around you.
Okay.
And is it universal or is it just cultural?
That's very interesting. Like for me, it's so hard for me to grasp the idea that you're separating music from your cognitive abilities. Like, it does not make sense to me that, this whole time people have been thinking that two different things and that doesn't affect you. Like,
No, it's not that it doesn't affect you, but he's talking about we don't talk about that enough,
Yeah.
or we don't use this information.
It's like, have you read any material on this kind of?
No, I haven't.
Exactly.
I
Yes.
have,
But
but also because of my research for my degree. Remember, I did the
I
advertising thing.
remember.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's such an ingrained thing in my head that I'm surprised that it's not in everybody else's head.
What is that?
That music affects you.
No, I don't think it's
Deeply.
that music affects you. Music affects you. It's
Period.
I think it's period. It's like people experience it. People know that it affects you. That's why they use it in movies. But you don't know how it affects you and how you can
Use it as a tool.
Yeah, exactly. Or how good tool it can be to educate or to teach children, or let's say not just children but anybody. And you
To take
yourself,
over the world, you mean?
Yeah, weapon of the future.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Okay.
Yeah, in that sense, I think educators should definitely use these kind of tools and explore more
Hmm.
in this field.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there
I
something?
think my school is doing a great job at that, if I'm being honest. Yeah. It absolutely is.
Yeah, but yeah, I was still talking to you about the song.
Yeah, sorry, go on.
The song which I chose was "The Curtain" by Snarky Puppy, and it was around 11 to 12-minute song.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
And I discovered that I could write at least 1,000 words on how it affects, what happens, what kind of emotions are there. I mean, people do write thousands of words on anything, but I discovered that I could do that because I
Yeah.
generally don't
Say
explain
1,000 words.
yeah explain much about what I listen to. I just experience it.
Right.
So,
Most hardest thing for you to
yeah.
write out 1,000 words
Exactly.
of that song, man.
Yeah. So it was
Was it hard?
It was hard.
Of course.
It was hard, but it channeled something different in me.
Okay.
Mm.
Yeah, that which I still want to kindle it more.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I think
Kindle away.
yeah. Yeah, what tools in general as a music educator have you had hands on?
Probably a wide stick.
Oh,
Positive affirmations.
that's very interesting. I've never used that one.
You should try it.
I do encourage my kids But
Yeah.
I think that emotional sensitivity is one of the things that I use a lot in my classes. How
Do you
they're
use it as a driver?
emotionally- Yeah, like a provocation. That's a new word that I just used. Yeah, visual aids.
Mm.
Oh, yes.
That's one of the other things. Mm. What else? What about you? Apart from positive affirmations and
I don't
practice
know.
more.
I can't think of what's a tool or what's
Okay,
not
maybe
the tool.
let me ask you, what technical tools do you use?
You just
Let's
made it
say-
more
Technical
complicated
tools.
than it already
Yeah,
was.
like you use your
Like material.
yeah.
Or-
Let's say electronic, or let's say instrument wise.
The instrument they're learning. What else would I use?
I use a lot of
I mean, see, yeah, it's different for you and it's different for me because I teach specific instruments, whereas you're teaching music as a curriculum.
as a subject.
That's yeah.
So
Yeah.
I use a lot of the internet for sure
Mhm.
because they need a lot of exposure of that.
Mhm.
It's like you bring all of that and put it in front of their face, and then they're like, "Oh, this exists." So that's one of the technical tools. I don't know if I got it right,
Mhm.
but the internet.
You already mentioned it in the older.
I did.
Yeah, you said visual aids.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's because
Mm.
of the internet.
No, visual aids. How do you use your visual aids? Okay, see, I know, or let's assume the children or students are generally inclined to visually learning, or learning verbally or acoustically, because some children
Yeah, it
catch
depends.
things through how they listen to, and some other catch to listen how they see them play.
Yeah, that's very individual
Yeah.
in my experience with kids.
Mm-hmm.
Some are, I mean, fewer in number, I would say, can hear and then find the same note. Like, for example, if I sing it or I play it on my own instrument and then I ask them to find it, they can do that. And some need to see what exact fingers I'm playing.
Mm.
And some need to see the rhythm laid out in front of them in the notations.
Mm.
Some are better at hearing and repeating it, and some are better at looking at it and then understanding it.
Mm.
Yeah, it's because I deal with like a bunch of kids at the same time. I have to give them everything one after the other because it's such a varied range of kids.
Yeah.
But I agree, absolutely. Like some just pick it up like that with their ear when I sing it,
Yeah.
and some can't even grasp it after I put it visually on the board.
Mm. Interesting.
Yeah.
And what are some advices or tips you can give for the younger generation who want to become music teachers or educators?
Music teachers.
Explore.
One of my students, she's 8.
Okay.
She was
She-
like,
She wants to become a music teacher.
she's like, after you become old, I will become big, and then I will become a music teacher, and then come here and teach kids. What type of advice?
I think networking is on top of the list for me.
Networking.
Yeah, like
Mm.
go talk to music, people that are already involved in music, people that play, people that just find that kind of exposure with people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, because music really does touch on that emotional subject. So I don't think it matters as much to learn it as like a theoretical thing, but rather to experience it. So I think give it a lot of time in that area. Sit down, listen to them play, watch people perform, jam.
Yeah, definitely
think.
play with other musicians is a big one. So I don't think we have enough system for that right now in Hyderabad for young people.
Yeah.
because kids don't get to play with other instruments unless they have some type of system in school, which only a few of them do.
Yeah.
Only a few of them get to. I guess, yeah, that would be one. And I mean, if somebody wanted to become a music teacher, I guess I would ask them to enjoy the music that they make as much as they can,
Mm-hmm.
so that they understand what they're doing, and then they are able to give it to the next person.
Yeah. And also be really passionate to
Yeah.
to be patient.
For sure.
For sure, yeah. Yeah. It's something that definitely grows with you.
Yeah. Well, finally, what are can you give us top 3 songs before we finish?
Let's check my
Let's check your
phone
Spotify.
quickly.
Spotify Wrapped.
We'll probably have your playlist.
Yeah.
You'll have our playlist?
Yes.
What do you
No,
mean?
that's not allowed.
You can't. It's hard.
You can maybe suggest one classical piece that you enjoy listening to.
Oh yeah, I was just about to pick something. Let me hear it first before I decide. I've been listening to a lot of. There's actually a playlist on Spotify that's called Angry Classical for Writing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my top playlist right now. And it's amazing.
Angry
Can I
classical.
just play it here?
Yeah, give us the energy of it.
This is is a concerto.
It's called Romeo and Juliet. OP? Opus 64, Act 1.
Who's the composer?
Sergei Prokofiev
Prokofiev.
and Cleveland
It's
Orchestra.
quite a popular
Yeah.
classic.
Yeah, a bunch of that stuff.
This is something I've been liking a lot. It's called. The names are always confusing for classical music.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like you can just sing it and then
Mhm.
Shazam it.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
It's Max Bruch. It's called 8 Pieces, Opus 84, arranged for violin. I think it's originally for another instrument, probably piano.
Mm-hmm.
But I like this thing about classical music where they have arrangements for different instruments.
Mm.
It's nice. Top 3 songs, I don't know. I really don't know. But from what you have introduced me, I really love Masego
Masego.
and FKJ.
Mm-hmm.
They're
Go on.
no, that's it.
Taneriel is one of an artist that I found, and I really enjoy her music as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks for joining and thanks for listening into the podcast. This is
Thanks for inviting ourselves, actually.
Yeah, we definitely invite ourselves.
Thank you.
Thank you for all those questions. I was gonna shoot them back, but it just kept going, so I guess it is what it is.
Yeah. On next season,
Yeah.
we'll
Yeah.
reappear next December.
Music with